Hello Real Life Youth, my name is Nikki and I'm part of the youth team at Real Life Church. Today, as part of our series, Hope is Alive, we will be looking at King David and one of his Psalms. This video contains some teaching, a challenge for you to try, and a Hope is Alive mindfulness activity. Now we are going to listen to our Bible reading by Pete. He will be reading Psalm 23 from the Jesus Storybook Bible if you want to follow along.
Hi, my name's Pete, and today I'll be reading from the Jesus Storybook Bible from page 132. God is my shepherd, and I am his little lamb. He feeds me, he guides me, he looks after me. I have everything I need. Inside, my heart is very quiet as lying still in soft green grass in a meadow by a little stream. Even when I walk through the dark, scary, lonely places, I won't be afraid, because my shepherd knows where I am. He is here with me, he keeps me safe, he rescues me. He makes me strong and brave. He is getting wonderful things ready for me, especially for me, everything I ever dreamed of. He fills my heart so full of happiness, I can't hold it all inside. Wherever I go, I know God's never stopping, never giving up, unbreaking, always and forever. Love will go too.
Hope is alive because he is alive. David knew that, and so do I. Psalm 23 was written by King David when he was going through a very dark and difficult time in his life. It uses the imagery of a shepherd and their sheep to teach us about our relationship with God, that he is with us, he cares for us, and we can trust him. Shepherds lead their sheep to different pastures depending on the time of year. In the summer months, the shepherd takes his sheep to the upper pastures, where there's lots of yummy food and clean water for the sheep. Have you ever climbed a mountain? Often the path to the mountaintop goes through the valleys, which can be dark and dangerous, especially for sheep. It's easy for sheep to get lost in the valley, or to encounter predators, or to stumble and get trapped in the rocks. When we go through tough times in our lives, we can feel like lost, lonely, scared sheep. But we can be confident that Jesus, our shepherd, will guide us, like his sheep, through the valleys. We can be confident that Jesus is always with us, leading the way. We can't get to the higher ground without going through the valleys. We don't always want those valleys, we are often afraid of them, but they are a necessary part of our growth in God. God uses the valley experiences in our lives in mighty ways. Often it is the darkest places that we find closeness to God. David wrote some psalms or prayers as a way of expressing his emotions and bringing these feelings to God. Emotions are not bad, they are part of being human. By coming to God and honestly sharing our emotions, we learn to handle them safely. And God is more than big enough to handle all of our emotions, good and bad. We cannot hide our feelings from God, but we become closer to God by talking to him about how we feel. He's not a distant God, he wants to be involved in every part of our daily life. Even though David was experiencing troubles, he held on to hope in God's promise. He wrote, "Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever." God will never leave us, and his love and mercy and grace for us overflows, and this gives us hope. So I have 3 challenges for you to choose from. You can try one of them or all 3 this week. In some of his other songs or psalms, David expresses different emotions: joy, anger, contentment, despair. Why not try reading some of the other psalms and imagining how David might have been feeling when he wrote them? Or the second challenge is that you could try writing your own prayer or psalm, or even make a piece of art or a picture expressing how you feel right now to God. You could use some of David's psalms as inspiration. Or the third challenge is you could interview a friend or family member. why not ask them if they could share with you about a time when they felt that they were in a dark valley in their life, and then get them to explain how God helped them through it. For our Keeping Hope Alive activity this week, spend some time outside in your own green pasture. This might be some local countryside, a park, or your garden at home. Try to stop and observe what is around you. What can you see? Then close your eyes and try and think of 3 things that you can hear, 2 things that you can touch or feel, and 1 thing that you can smell. Invite Jesus on your walk and for him to speak to you through the beauty of nature. Thanks for joining us today, Real Life Youth. Goodbye.